Macey, how you going, buddy?
How are you, buddy?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. Not a bad show last week, huh?
You were you were a little bit MIA, dude.
Yeah, I was. I'm
Unwell?
not getting in on it. I'm not getting into it, mate.
Not getting into it.
Well, you had Luke Cleary. He had more viewers. So
We had to produce. Went from
well,
one
the big
premiership
dog-
to three. We got the big dog in.
the big dog's back. So
Big dog's back. Big papa's back.
big papa's back.
How you feeling?
Yeah, after the long weekend, feeling a bit better. We had the Levels Golf Day last week.
How was that?
It's a good day. I didn't play golf. I just drove around in the drinks cart with Willie Mason, and that's probably all I was in my
You did well though. I have to say, we almost got through. Even though we didn't start at the start of the season, you almost got through the whole season, and then went MIA Grand Final day.
It's just like my career. Every 3 months, I'd go missing at some point.
You built it up. Well done.
At least I can't cop a ban, you know.
No, you can't cop a ban. We definitely need you here.
Yeah, yeah. How'd you find the game?
I thought it was. I was impressed. It was it was a real tough, as you said, systematic sort of game.
Yeah, when you got two teams that are so systematic and so good defensively, it's obviously going to make the trick shots and the bigger plays a lot harder to break through that defensive line. But obviously Harry Grant getting that first try, you know, he took his opportunity with Fish Harris on the ground. Cleary sort of gets caught at marker, takes his opportunity, and that's the kind of game that I thought it was going to be.
Kez, I remember we did the preview and he said, I thought the halves would stand up if it would come towards the end. And I think there's a few things. That Penrith team, like you hit the 65th minute and that speed of that game was played so fast. Like there was barely any errors. The speed of the game, everyone kept talking, was so fast, so fast. So usually you think at the 65th minute, the game opens right up. Like their line speed in those last 15 minutes is insane. It doesn't, they take there's a little bit more space.
Yeah.
But they're just there.
I think the ball was in play for 65 minutes, but I don't think the game was that fast.
You don't reckon the game was that fast?
It was. So you can push the boundaries with the referees in semi-finals, in origins, in those bigger games. So I thought the ruck was a lot slower, and that's taking nothing away from the fitness levels of what they had to go through. But ball in play for 65 minutes is a long bloody time. But I think there was a lot slower ruck. There was a lot more that the players got away with. And it just shows you the relentlessness of like that Penrith side. They won't give up. Melbourne won't either.
And Melbourne weren't bad either. But like Melbourne have been a team that have been able to score points well all season, and they were kept to 6.
It's that Penrith system. It's just like the Dogs this year, you know. It's like their defensive patterns, their intent in everything they do. Like they don't give you a millimetre.
Yeah.
In any part of the game, defensively or offensively, they give you absolutely nothing. They hit to hurt. They want to rip your limbs out. They want to rip your throat out. And that's what they do. You know, Melbourne are just not as good at doing it.
Yeah.
But if Melbourne played any other side in the competition, they would have beaten by 20, 30, 40 points. It's just Penrith are just the experience on the big stage as well. 4 in a row, like that club. The most impressive thing for me with Penrith is that they can back up year after year, go through a preseason, go through the grind of 27 rounds and still know when to turn the screw during a semi-final and just take it to a grand final. That's the most impressive thing for me. Like teams that go maybe 1, 2, then you're just like, fuck, we've won 2 grand finals. You know, we're losing
everyone says
players.
about how hard it is to get back up for the second.
Oh, 100%.
To do it 4 times and after being in your 5th grand final in a row.
That's not taking anything away from the quality of players they have.
Yeah.
The most like impressive thing for me is to be able to back up and do it year after year. So tell you what, after we won one, I was done.
Hasn't been cited
I was
since.
like, fuck, I've won one, I'm done. So, you know, like just I can't speak highly enough of that club. I spoke to Cody Walker, actually, and we were just sort of having a bit of a laugh about different teams, different eras, we'll just messaging. And he goes, bro, like how hard preseasons are these days and how hard the seasons are and the science they put in, the kilometres, this, that, the other, like to do that 5 years in a row and win 4.
Yeah.
They're the best team ever. You can't deny that. Best club. I wouldn't say the best team. Best club. Okay. In terms of, you know what I mean there? Like with their system, systematically, they're the best. You can go through the Melbourne sides when you had the big 4, like you had the big 3 plus GI in that side.
Yeah, does this team beat that team?
Oh, mate, there's a 2000. It's so hard to compare. Right, it's hard to compare. You could say the 2000 Broncos team could beat them on a day. 2001 Newcastle, 2002 Roosters, 03 Penrith, 04 us, 05 Tigers. No.
So you're Benji.
Do you know what I mean? Like teams could have beaten them on their day, but you got it. Just teams could not beat them consistently.
Yeah, there's definitely
year after year after year. The dynamic, the chemistry of those players and what they do, like they've just got the perfect chemistry of players in that team.
I think this was almost their most impressive in the fact of Melbourne has been so good.
Yeah.
And like everyone, I've spoken to so many people and they talk about Dylan Edwards, they talk about Nathan Cleary, Jerome, Liam Martin, they talk about the forwards.
Yep.
No one seems to mention Ivan.
Yeah.
It's like Bellyache and I even said it to Cleary, we had breakfast and we were chatting and I said, and he was the same, he spoke about it, I go, no one again has mentioned Ivan. And he goes, they didn't have the best year. He thought for a second, he said it like just coming out. But when you think about it, they've just won their 4th. Cleary played less than half the season.
Yep.
He's played less than half the season. They still were able to finish second. Yep. And then they've gone and done, and as soon as it was time to go, hey, we need to fucking turn it on.
Well, think about 6 years ago or 7 years ago when he first went there and they were coming like last.
Yeah.
Right? So you got to say Gus had something to do with that system. They've built a system. A head coach doesn't need when you've got a team so good and that's working within a system, they need to be good motivators, good mentors. They don't need to tell Jerome Luai how to step off his left foot or Liam Martin how to tackle. All they do is motivate. That's what they.
What's Bellyache then?
A motivator. They come up with game plans, but they just manipulate small parts of the game. Like that try they scored, right, to River in the corner. Unreal. That's a variation of the same play. The first week they did Garner scores off a kick. The second time he hits Alamotti, he goes through and scores. The other variation is passing it out the back and Taruva scores in the corner. They're just small little chinks that he needs to change.
Yeah.
But to be a good coach, or what do they call them in football, in soccer? Managers. You got to manage men.
Yeah.
We're all head cases, footballers. I'm telling you, the majority of footballers are fucking head cases. And if you can manage a man and just get the best out of him week in, week out, you think about like Liam Martin's from Temora.
It's amazing that you went to Liam Martin first. Do you reckon he's a little bit mental?
He's not someone that I'd have over for dinner. You know what I mean? Like he'd eat your house out. He's just
and have 6 dead cats.
I wouldn't.
Or kittens. Like he's got something about him, and I just fucking love him. I wouldn't
trust him around my pets.
Just sitting there.
Respectfully, like that kid, like he's just that no holds barred, country, tough, does his job, does it 100% week in, week out. Now, I'm sure we might touch on it. He's just pulled out of the Australian side, but you can't be angry at him for having a rest.
Like,
a lot of those guys.
It's a shame he's not going to be there. But like, I love when he goes to take that take. You can see he's running in. He just looked like he was there to support, and he just went, "Fuck it, I'll grab it."
He competes.
He just competes.
They don't know he doesn't know anything else other than competing.
Yeah,
so.
And he's the sort of player I'm tipping everyone wants to play next to.
Oh, 100%.
You just feel good next to him. He's just
feel safe. You know what you're going to get from him. He's just going to you're not. I would never run at him for sure.
I was going to say, being a half growing up, he'd be that one bloke, that fucking mental case in the headgear's here again.
Yeah.
Like
not even the headgear,
no,
the curly hair.
That curly hair.
You know, everyone gets a fade before a game. He goes the opposite way. He just grows it
this
out.
bloke hasn't showered. He's rocked up in a plano.
He got a haircut after the game. He doesn't give a shit if it's
he was just
a
like,
Channel 9
I
game.
am not playing halfback this day. I'm not kicking.
Fuck, paying $50 for a fade.
Oh, mate. He just fucking horror. He would just horrify you, the player.
Yeah, mate. He's out. Mate, it's Clive Churchill.
Do you reckon he's related to Bobby Boucher? There's a bit of Bobby in him, I reckon. Waterboy.
You said it, mate. Go on.
No, I just love it. There's something about him.
No,
like,
he's a special player, and
I was so glad that because it can. A lot of people say that Clive Churchill can go towards halves, and I remember I was sitting there. I think we watched a few of the boys. Everyone said, and I just went, he had to get it.
Yeah,
him or Yo.
Yeah, Yoey, man, he really stepped up. And you can tell that, like, there's no doubting that those boys were a little bit busted. You know, everyone's saying that they just timed their run perfectly. They're busted. Like, you know, they got the knee strapped. You know, obviously Cleary with the shoulder, but they just know how to put that in the back of their mind and just go, hey, pain does not affect the way that I perform for 80 minutes. Or when I get to the big stage, when I turn up into that arena, there's no such thing as a little bit of a niggle or sore knee or
don't believe it.
He's got a sublux shoulder. Like he's got to get pretty much a shoulder Rico Cleary. You know what I mean? Like they just know how to deal with pain and just turn up, get the job done.
He's going through that much pain. He's actually put the surgery off for 3 weeks to go see his girlfriend. That must be love.
Mary Fowler. Jesus
Fowler.
Christ. I won't go there. Has he really?
It was in the.
He misses her that much. He's gone.
He's just he's put the surgery back.
He wouldn't be able to fly.
Why? Because of the.
You can't fly for surgery.
That's why.
Yeah.
Wow, must be love. Getting down on her.
Good on him.
Might see him playing for like Catalan. He might go over and play in the Super League for a season.
Wouldn't be surprised. He could be going over there to do a deal.
Let's touch. I want to touch on his game. What did you make of his game?
Solid, man. Just solid. Like they just do their job well. They get to end the sets, put the ball in the air, let the defense go down, do their job.
Yeah.
Put the ball in the air, put the ball in the air, put the ball in the air. You know, that play that when Luai threw it back to Cleary and he put Liam Martin through.
Yeah.
He was originally calling for the ball.
Mm.
And Luai's just gone, oh shit, back to Cleary. What's that young kid, Howarth? Like steps out that. See how they targeted the young centre?
Yeah.
Like he's a young back rower, right? And they knew to target him on that edge because you play back row, but they've put him in the centres.
Mm.
And he's made a poor decision to, I think he tried to jam on Edwards and Liam Martin's just gone straight through.
Yeah.
So that would have been one of their game plans, to target these inexperienced players that hadn't played in grand finals before.
And they did. They were the ones that made a couple of errors early.
On the big stage, you know, like you're under pressure, you know, especially in front of, 85,000 people?
Yeah. And a Penrith side that just knows how to get shit done.
Yeah, exactly.
Mitch
Kenny, can we talk about him?
No, we can't. We'll move along.
How good's that kid?
He's just...
Like, there's no Harry Grant, he's in the Australians. He should have been in the squad.
Yeah.
Who did they pick? Robson's
been fucking
He's
good.
been great. He was
unbelievable in Origin.
Yeah, but like Mitch Kenny.
He certainly puts his hand up. Is he New South Wales?
Yeah.
That's good. Bit of depth.
I hope I just made that up.
Well, fuck off back to Queensland if you are.
If he's a Queenslander, then fuck him. He's not playing for
Australia, exactly.
No, Mitch Kenny, he's like, he leads the line speed. He hits with intent. And you never see him get driven back. He's always stopping them in their tracks. And then Yowie or Leota or Fisher Harris come over the top and they just slow the ruck down. Like, you can never get any momentum against a pack or a middle that good when you've got a hooker that's so dominant defensively. You know, he's not getting pulled back, pushed back. Every time he just hits with intent. He hits to hurt. So, like, for him to miss out on the Australian squad, it's a little bit disappointing. But he'll get his opportunity.
Yeah. What did you make of the halves from Melbourne, Hughes, Munster?
They tried hard, but they just got like Hughes got taken out of the game a fair bit, don't you think? Like in terms of just the line speed, they just got up in his face. And you know what they were missing? Sofa Solomano.
When we did the preview and he goes, which way are you going? And up until the 2 weeks, last week, I was tipping Penrith, and then Melbourne was so impressive. And then the one thing I was worried about with them was Nelson. I didn't adjust, and he's such a big loss against that pack. That pack is just incredible, and they needed that big body.
They needed to bend the line.
Yeah, and he bends lines.
Jerome Hughes and Munster play off the front foot on the ad line.
Yeah.
They love playing off the ad line. And if you're getting dominated, and like I said, the ball might have been in play for 65 minutes or 64 minutes, but they didn't get their opportunities to play ad
they wrestled them. They slowed that down. They
slowed it right down. It takes Jerome and Munster out of the game.
Yeah.
They
nullified the spine completely.
You could.
Pappy wasn't that noticeable.
The defensive line was always set.
Yeah.
You know, Jerome Hughes plays a little bit more off a structure.
Yeah.
And if you get a slow play of the ball, then you try and bang one more in just to get that line, that quick play of the ball. Munster plays ad lib, but the defensive line was always set.
Yeah.
It was always set, you know, so it could have went either way. If they gave that try.
I was about to say, is it a try or no try? What do you think?
Oh, fuck. Look, there wasn't enough evidence. Like, if you look, when you look back at it the next day, you go, there's an argument he got it down.
So is it?
But I'm happy that, like, Klein, he's too much. I've got to be careful what I say about the referees because I work at New South Wales Rugby League. But, look, there wasn't enough evidence in that moment for him to say, yeah, he got the ball down. And there wasn't enough evidence for the bunker to overturn it.
Yeah.
I think he got it down.
Yeah.
It definitely hit a blade of grass. Just a small, tiny bit of grass.
So it was a try.
Oh, look, there wasn't enough evidence. I'm happy that it went no try.
Fair enough. But you do think it was down.
But I think it was down. What's so funny?
So in a court of law, is it a try or no try?
It's a section 10. You would have got off.
Yeah, section 10. He's got a good barrister. Reni wins again. Well done.
Yeah, another section 10.
Oh, you know what as well? It's a player for Penrith who's so good at obviously getting them on that off the line and does a lot of work. Got injured relatively early in the game.
Leota played with a torn calf. He comes on. Like, even, you know, the funny thing was, like, Liam Martin catching that ball, he could have just went himself.
Yeah, I know.
Like, I would have backed him to, like, fend Paps off and, like, score under the post. And then you've got a front rower there and the kick chase, like, Leota. And then it was the ugliest pass to Alamonte you've ever seen. But, you know, it was just like a grenade, like, have that, score in the corner. But just for him as well, like it's unfortunate he will be missing in the Kiwi side, but a front rower, you got Liam Martin and Moses Leota, like, in the kick chase.
Yeah.
Throws a grenade out to Alamonte and he scores it in the corner. Like,
I thought they were playing beach NFL.
And it's just, there was always more jerseys in the picture, right?
Always.
And it's just
every year, we're not saying to start previewing, but every year we say, well, they can't do it again. But they've lost, surely the next year they lose Jerome. Like, Jerome's been phenomenal this season.
He's been unbelievable.
How quick can they get Blaze Talangi?
You got Blaze Talangi coming in.
That's a massive signing.
You lose Fisher Harris.
That I think. I don't want to be disrespectful to Jerome because I'm actually a huge fan of Jerome's, but Fisher Harris is a monster loss.
They're both big losses.
Both massive losses.
Massive losses.
If they make a GF next year, after losing those two.
How can you write them off though? Like it's just the
incredible.
conveyor belt. There'll be just some other kid you've never heard of come out of Penrith, straight out of Mount Druitt, that they'll just throw in there, and he'll just be another beast. You know, like I'm worried about. I'm honestly concerned for Jerome going to the Tigers. What?
There's been some fucking funny memes about it.
The old palliative care Tigers.
Yeah.
Where Chris
Jerome, great game. When can you start early and all this shit?
Oh, look, like I truly, truly hope he has the same effect that Critter had on the Dogs. They've got some work to do, you know, like.
But I think a lot of people, Dogs, they probably weren't that much better than what the Tigers, like last year, maybe slightly better. Like when you look at where the Dogs have gone from to where they are now.
Yeah, well, yeah, they were 17th or 16th, and then they
like
bring in Critter and they go to 6th. They finish 6th.
6.
I just think he's got a little bit more work to do for Jerome to get them up into the 8. It's kind of like I'm sort of conflicted on, or a little bit torn on. Like I would have loved to see that team stick together. You know, like.
Well, like that's, you go back and look, there was only 7 of the original, from the original game 1, win 1.
But obviously with salary cap, but I don't know, like you come through and you create a kid's career and you do put all the hard work in, and then the salary cap takes it away. What's the salary cap?
A supporter.
Yeah, you're a Rooster supporter, Uncle Nick over here. Like, and obviously you want a fair competition, you want to spread it out, you want to spread the talent across the competition, but it would have been good for those, especially for Jerome and Nathan, to stick together.
That would have been cool.
Like they've been playing together since under 13s, 14s, something like that.
I actually wanted to see the opposite though. I desperately want to see Cleary go to a Tigers. I want to see him go to the Dolphins. I want to see him go to a bottom 5 team, and I want to see if he can have the same effect.
No doubt.
But
his game management's incredible. And you can, like, he's got like 16 other, like, unbelievable players around him.
I just want to see him outside of a system and see if he can build a system.
Oh, definitely.
I think he can. Not the same way, but I want to see it.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't stepped his side
the Roosters or something? Yous are in trouble next year.
Mate, we'll talk about that in season previews in a few weeks' time. We'll leave that for now.
Oh, I'm tipping Roosters not to make the 8.
Really?
We'll talk about it next year, mate.
Talk about it in time. They definitely need to start making some signings. It's
a bit late now, isn't it?
Yeah. Fuck. No one out there. Scary times. We won't postpone to the season. We've started touching on New Zealand, Australia. There's been some news flash out. Shaun Johnson,
huge.
He retired. Didn't look like he was going to play. Jerome Hughes out, and he's coming in for an SRS. Stacey Jones
loves the attention, doesn't he?
I have to say his content has been unreal. He's breaking down of the game, manipulating defense, explaining.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome. It's good to see people and some good ex-players putting out that style of content.
Yeah, he's great. Like he's been a top line half for so long. He understands the game better than most, you know. He's one of those players that came on the scene that was a little bit erratic and then fell into like, all right, we're in a system, we're in structure, this is how we play. And he's no look left. These fucking plants doing my head in now. But anyway, he's no look pass when he's got a lead runner.
Yeah,
is the best I've ever seen. So he'll have a back row hitting inside a 3-man, and he swings it like off the hip square, no look, and hits his fullback every time.
Just hits him perfect.
I've never seen anyone like the way he passes the ball is unbelievable, especially when he's just squaring up a defence to play out the back. He's probably the next best thing from Jerome to play at half, obviously.
Yeah.
Like the SOS call. Like when did he finish up? Around 4 weeks ago?
Yeah, 4 weeks ago.
I don't think
when they won that game.
I don't think he'd be a drinker like you and I, even though you've been off the piss for a while.
I
think he'd been looking after himself the last 5 weeks. So.
You reckon?
Yeah. So I know there's a few players out. Moses Leota's out now.
Yeah, it's a lot. Kalen Ponga absolutely copped it. Now everyone's pulled out. It's just like there's some big names.
Yeah. The Aussies missing anyone? Oh, Teddy missed out.
Teddy missed out. Teddy wasn't big. DCE.
What do you think of the DCE one?
So who are the halves now? Who have we got?
Munster's not playing now.
Not playing either.
Mitch Moses.
Mitch Moses, and I love Mitch Moses being there. I think he deserves it, and I would have picked him. Who's
Mitch Moses?
Wait,
come on, Tommy Gunn, jump in here, son.
No. Where is it? Mitch Moses and Tom Dearden.
Tommy Dearden deserves his spot.
Yeah,
it's got to be another half.
No, Dearden and Moses, they're the two.
Yeah, but you got to have a backup half, surely.
The backup half would be Ben Hunt.
Benny Hunt.
He'd be a great signing for the Roosters for 12 months. Just FYI.
I love Benny Hunt, but him or DCE?
Yeah.
At that point, that's a massive call from Mal. I didn't think of that one.
It's a big one.
Because you can't say it's a changing of the guard because Ben Hunt's the same age as DCE.
Yeah, they're both 40.
they're definitely well into their 30s, right?
Definitely. They're I have to say, they fucking both had very good seasons.
So who would back up fullback for Edwards?
There is. We've got Turbo.
Oh, Turbo. Yeah, that's right.
Hammer.
The Hammer.
Big Bad Hammer. It's it's certainly an interesting one.
The Tongan team looks strong.
They look very strong.
They look like they're the only Pacific team that's beaten the Aussies. I think they beat the Kiwis as well.
Yeah.
If there's any point in time that they could do it again, it's this
series.
Hamoli's on the bench. They've got Kaloa Matangi and maybe Kafusi in the back row.
Yep.
You got Olakuatu on the bench. They
got the two Katoas, Adam Fanua Blake, Lehigh Hopewadi. He's had a really good breakout season.
Yep.
The great Toops, Moses Hooley.
They've got a solid team.
Yeah.
Solid team.
Very, very. I don't like cheering against my own country, but I actually love to see them win.
Tonga, yeah, for sure.
It's just so good for the game.
Well, if you go back to the World Cup when Samoa made the final, what that did for the Pacific nations, that went global. I think every Samoan there was Samoans in Alaska that were celebrating. I'm legit. What it does for Pacific nations, this small dot in the Pacific, the amount of Pacific people that are spread across the world now, it just grows the game. It makes it more interesting, and I think Tonga could give this a good shake.
Yeah, it'd be incredible to see it.
I just want to see what do they call theirs? The sippy towel. It's a sippy towel? Yeah. That's the best. They do you know it as the haka, but
yeah,
the sippy towel. When they do it against the Kiwis, that'll be intense. But we've got all that to look forward to, mate.
That is exciting. Very exciting. And other news since we've had you on, Madge signing at the Broncos. We've had a lot to discuss with.
He's the perfect person for that club. They're all going to get a. Tell you what, there won't be any vlogs.
No more vlogs.
No more vlogs. Madge is fucking. This is how we do it.
Or do you reckon that they convert him and he becomes a vlogger?
There'll be no man bags. There'll be no Louis Vuitton man bags. There's no vlogs. They'll be all moving from the Gold Coast to Brisbane. That's the kind of coach he is, they're in for a rude shock with their army camps and he's the perfect person for that club. With the amount of talent in that squad, Madge is the only person that was right for that job.
Yeah.
Him or maybe Wayne.
you reckon he's changed a bit since?
No.
Nah,
He's no one bit, mate. He's a fucking great guy. He's trained down at Titan in Coogee. You saw what he did for New South Wales,
incredible,
right? In a 6-week period. Like the intensity, imagine having that for 27 rounds plus semi-finals. Like they're in for a rude shock, these boys. But like you can't, just having Madge there alone puts them back up into a top 4 side. Just by Madge being there.
What if they don't see eye to eye and it works? Can it work the opposite, or he just cleans them out?
It cleans them out.
See you later.
It's either
Madge way or the highway.
Pretty much, that's what he's been brought there to do. And that's no disrespect to Kevy, but you could tell the players weren't playing for Kevy.
No.
They weren't, right? So with someone like Madge, he'll tell you straight, like, this is how we do it. You don't want to live up to a standard. See you later, champ.
What do you think day one, Madge walks in the door? How does it go down?
Put your boots on. We're going to get out on the field.
Looks like one of those 80s army movies.
Nah, look, I just think he's the perfect person for a young squad. Look, Renault's probably will be looked after in the preseason because from what I've heard, they're pretty tough preseasons. But for a young squad with so much talent, Madge is the perfect coach.
Yeah.
Perfect coach.
Yeah, I can definitely see them being a team that can fight back. There's been talk that a few of the board members weren't happy because he's not a Queenslander. But I think he's the sort of bloke that he does everything with so much passion. Like he bleeds wherever he is.
100%. We won a bloody grand final from Wigan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you can't say that he didn't buy into
the
north of England. Have you been to Wigan?
No.
Fuck. I lived right next to Wigan. I couldn't understand a word they were saying, so I don't know how he got the best out of them.
Give us one story from over there.
Oh, fuck. About 1,000. No, I can't tell on the pod.
Too incriminating.
No, I'd look, Gaz Hock was from Wigan.
Yeah.
And, mate, absolute animal of a player. Like, one of the best back rowers to ever come out of England. He actually signed with Parramatta.
Yeah.
And then when I first went over there to play for Featherston, he came after me. International back rower, and he just kept coming after me. I was like, fuck, what's your problem? I thought we had maybe a little bit of a mutual respect, a couple of older players, and he just, kept gunning for me all the time. Anyway, we ended up becoming teammates and just, really close. But his accent got so thick when we had a drink that I'd sit there for hours with him and wouldn't understand a word he was saying. It was like the more drinks you had, the more the accent came out, and I'd be sitting there looking at Gaz going, yeah. But, mate, if he was he could have – I wish Gaz Hock did come to the NRL.
He would have made it?
Oh, mate, he would have been special. He'd be up there with Sam and –
wow.
And all the best forwards that came over. Mate, this bloke was so talented. So talented. Yeah. So
interesting.
Not much of a story that you'd want to hear, but
that's a big rap.
Well,
that's a big rap.
I wonder if I'm not sure if Gaz was playing under Madge when they won it. I think he would have left Wigan by then, yeah.
For me, Sam Burgess and Adrian Morley, it's got to be two of the toughest blokes.
I played in Morley's last game.
You did?
For Salford. When I went and signed with Salford, I was just in awe of Moz, because playing against him in the early days, it was fuck, where's Moz coming from, And then, playing against him in the GF, getting to start in that game, it was I'm kind of Ogar, Willie, you guys take care of him, it's Moz. And then to actually meet him, mate, he's the sweetest, the nicest bloke you've ever met. And I got to play, when I signed with Salford and we played in his retirement game, it was just an absolute pleasure to
be part of it.
Just to be part of this guy that you sort of was feared in the NRL. And then got to play alongside him, and I think we played.
Oh, so you did play alongside him?
We played probably 6, 7 games together.
Yeah.
And then got to play in his retirement game. I think it might have been in Hull, where our man Willie Peters is. Shout out to Willie Peters too.
Go Willie.
He's made a grand final.
That's this weekend?
I believe so, but
yeah, in the GF. Big
the
effort.
little general. I've known him since I was a kid. I love talking footy with him. And to see Willie, go over the KR to a grand final is outstanding. So
huge effort.
All the best, the little general.
We'll finish off one last thing. Eels have just come out and said, Gutho, you're free to go, in essence. Go talk to other clubs. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, look, I mean, it depends how much he's taken up of the cap, and this is all part of the business again, right? Like, if he can find a 3-year deal somewhere, like, he's a handy footy player. Like, he might be at the back end of his career, but you're not only signing someone for their talent on the field, you're signing someone that's going to bring the leadership to the dressing room.
Yeah.
To be able to set standards, to be able to be a good leader for the younger players and the people around him, for the group. So I think any club that could pick Gutho up, if he could get a 3-year deal, like it's you're getting a good signing,
at the right price.
Well, I don't care what money he gets. I hope he gets all the money in the world, but Parramatta are at a different stage. Rolls, he's trying to build that to a team that's going to be. He wants to get success early.
Yeah,
I think those teams that are sort of like mid to hot, sort of mid, maybe a little bit lower, that need a Gutho that's just a good leader, good experience. Show like a Tigers could use a Gutho. A Bulldogs could use a Gutho.
Yeah, wow.
Like.
Is he a utility? Gus will sign him.
He loves a utility. I just think you got to take out of the equation just not only what he brings on the field, which is great.
What he brings off.
It's what he brings off the field as well. And, it just sounds like the Ricky Stewart clean out when I was at Parramatta. Rolls, he started it there.
All right. Well, I think that's a wrap.
Yeah, it was good to be back, mate. I think where's Kez gone? Is Luke Cleary moving overseas?
He's still here. He's off to.
No, I just want to know if he's going to take my spot again. That's all.
No, we only had to bring him in for GS when people go MIA, but he's all right.
Yeah,
it's all right. But you know what? One thing I do want to say is, thank you to everyone that has been watching. It's been a good season. It's been building. The audience has been building. It's
good to see you again, mate. It's good to be back. Tommy Gunn, good to see you too.
What are you prepared to lose today? Set a deposit limit. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.